Welcome. Please enjoy the story. If you find it compelling, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more. She lied with a smile. But I caught it all on a live stream. Ethan and Rachel had been together for nearly a decade. They lived in a quiet, predictable suburb just outside of Columbus, Ohio. In a neighborhood where the mail always arrived on time, where lawns were trimmed with near-obsessive precision, and where neighbors exchanged waves more often than words. They had a daughter, little Lily, who had just turned 5, bright, curious, and the heartbeat of their world. Ethan worked as a floor manager at a growing logistics hub. Rachel stayed at home, managing the household and occasionally taking on freelance work as a personal style consultant online. Their life was structured, their days stable. On the surface, everything seemed steady, uneventful maybe, but in a peaceful, almost enviable way. There were no screaming matches, no accusations, no dramatic disappearances or cryptic text messages. It was the kind of relationship that felt settled, trustworthy. Rachel had always carried herself with poise, warm to strangers, thoughtful to friends, effortlessly charming in her conversations. She had this way of making people feel at ease, which often made Ethan feel like he'd truly lucked out. Even his mother adored her, often saying, "You picked a good one, Ethan." But what really set Rachel apart, at least in Ethan's eyes, was her stance on integrity. "I could never be unfaithful," she used to say, sipping coffee at their kitchen island. "If I'm ever unhappy, I'll tell you. I'd never lie to someone I love." And Ethan believed her. Not blindly, but because Rachel lived like someone with nothing to hide. She was active in Lily's life, organized school events, kept their home warm and functional, and even managed to keep a healthy social life with her cousin and a few close friends. Once a month, always on a Friday, Rachel would go out for dinner. Ethan knew the drill. She'd name the restaurant, say who she was meeting, give an ETA, and text when she arrived and when she left. She was always back on time, maybe a few minutes late if traffic was bad, but never suspiciously so. Ethan never checked her phone, never questioned her. And that was love, wasn't it? Trust without surveillance. But all of that unraveled one random Friday evening, in the most absurd way possible. That night, around 7 p.m., Rachel got ready as usual. She wore a modest floral dress, tied her hair up, and kissed Lily on the forehead before giving Ethan a peck on the cheek. "Reservations at 7:30, she smiled. "I won't be late." Ethan waved her off and stayed home with Lily. They had dinner, watched a cartoon, and after tucking her into bed, he collapsed onto the couch and began mindlessly scrolling through his phone. That's when it happened. He opened Instagram and stumbled onto a local comedian's live stream, someone he'd followed casually but hadn't seen post much lately. The stream was broadcasting from a trendy new bar that had just opened in downtown Columbus. It was lively, noisy, packed with young people laughing, drinking, and dancing under neon lights. Ethan almost scrolled past. But the video lingered, playing in the background as he stared into nothing, until the camera panned across a dimly lit lounge area with a red couch under a warm yellow light. And that's when he saw her, Rachel, sitting sideways with her legs crossed, a shimmering top catching the light, not the floral dress she had left in. Her hair was down, her body language relaxed, and beside her was a man, unknown, smiling, leaning in close. She laughed. Not nervously, not politely, comfortably, intimately. One hand rested on the man's arm for just a second too long, and Ethan felt something deep in his gut twist violently. He stared at the screen, willing himself to see it wrong, to explain it away, to misidentify. But there was no mistake. It was her. The woman who preached honesty, who said she despised cheaters. Now caught not by chance but by a random Instagram livestream. Ethan's heart didn't race. Drop. He didn't scream. He didn't cry. He sat motionless as the camera drifted away, but that one moment replayed in his head over and over. Her expression, the ease, the clothes she hadn't left in. She had lied, changed outfits, gone somewhere she never mentioned with someone Ethan had never seen. And he wouldn't have known, ever, if not for dumb luck. He saved the video. Didn't speak. Didn't even text her. He waited. At 11:28 p.m., the front door opened. Rachel walked in with the same breezy energy. She kicked off her shoes and said, "That place was packed. We ended up staying a little longer." Ethan didn't say a word. He simply held up his phone. The paused video. Frozen at the moment she leaned into the mystery man, the expression on her face as clear as day. Rachel stopped mid-step. Her smile collapsed. She saw the screen, went pale, and nearly stumbled. Her lips parted, but no words came out at first. It's not what it looks like. But the tone was hollow, and the excuse already dead. It just happened. It was stupid. It didn't mean anything. Ethan didn't flinch. "How long?" he asked. His voice like a stone dropped into a quiet lake. She couldn't answer. Who is he? Nothing but her shaky breathing and tears that came too easily for someone claiming innocence. After a moment of silence, he stood, walked to the stairs, and stopped halfway up. "You have until tomorrow night to leave," she begged, pleaded, whispered things that might have once worked. But Ethan was done. The next day he didn't argue. He didn't scream. He made breakfast for Lily, set up a meeting with a divorce attorney, and took his daughter to visit her grandmother, who noticed something was wrong but said nothing. She knew Ethan well enough to understand that silence sometimes says more than 1,000 words. By evening Rachel was gone. 2 suitcases. No goodbye. Just absence. The house was quieter, yes, but somehow lighter. Ethan spent that night on the floor of his daughter's room, her small hand resting on his chest as she slept. He wasn't thinking about revenge. Just clarity. The following weeks were quiet, functional. He boxed up Rachel's things, sent her a message. "You can pick these up. Bring your cousin. No one else." She didn't reply. Divorce paperwork came quickly. No arguments. No resistance. She didn't ask for custody. "I need to find myself," she had written in an email to the lawyer. Ethan nodded when he read it. She already had. That night in the bar. And what she found wasn't worth holding on to. 6 months later, Rachel had moved to another city. Therapy, retreats, journals. She tried to rebuild from the ashes of a fire she had set. Meanwhile, Ethan rebuilt from the rubble she left behind. Not bitterly, not with hatred, but with strength. He repainted the living room, took down their wedding photo, bought a new rug Lily helped him pick. He picked Lily up from school, made her laugh on Sunday mornings, let her bring her teddy bear on every visit to Rachel's aunt's house. That rhythm, simple, sincere, became their new life. And it was good. Not perfect, but honest. Rachel became a figure in the distance. A shadow in stories Lily would tell. Sometimes Ethan would smile, nod, say, "Mommy loves you always." But inside he had already moved on. Not to someone else. Peace.